Gil Heron, a name that rarely appears in football highlight reels, a story that was never shouted from the stands, yet without Gil Heron, the history of Celtic Football Club and Scottish football itself would be incomplete. This is not a tale of medals or long careers. This is the story of courage, timing, and a man who arrived before the world was ready. Gilbert Heron was born on the 9th of September 1923 in Kingston, Jamaica. From an early age he showed natural athletic ability. He was strong, quick and intelligent. Football came easily to him, but opportunity did not. In the 1930s and 1940s, black footballers faced barriers at every level of the game. Scouting networks ignored them. Clubs hesitated, and when chances did appear, they were often fleeting. Still, Gil Heron refused to be invisible. In the late 1940s, Heron travelled to Britain, a bold move for a young Jamaican athlete at that time. Britain was still recovering from war. Football was regaining its place in working class life. But socially the country was deeply conservative and openly hostile to anyone who looked different. Against that backdrop, in 1948, Gil Heron signed for Celtic Football Club, quietly, without fanfare, without headlines. Yet history had just been made. Gil Heron became the first black player ever to represent Celtic. Heron played as a centre forward. He was not flashy, he was not theatrical, he was direct, powerful and composed in front of goal. When his chance finally came, he took it. Gil Heron made 2 senior competitive appearances for Celtic, and in those 2 matches he scored 2 goals, a 100% scoring record. In any era, that demands attention. But in 1948 Scotland, it wasn't enough. Although he performed on the pitch, life off it was unforgiving. Racist abuse from the terraces was common, isolation was constant, there were no welfare officers, no public backing, no protection. Gil Heron stood alone. Teammates have since spoken of how difficult it was for players like Heron to simply exist in the game, never mind thrive. Celtic, to their credit, had opened the door, but the football world beyond it refused to change. Heron's opportunities disappeared, and just like that, his professional football career in Scotland was over. Yet, Gil Heron's story does not end with football, far from it. After stepping away from the game, he became deeply involved in journalism, political thought and activism. He wrote, he spoke, and he challenged injustice wherever he saw it. And through him, his influence carried on. Gil Heron was the father of Gil Scott Heron, one of the most influential cultural figures of the 20th century, a poet, a musician, a voice of resistance. The themes that defined Gil Scott Heron's work, identity, struggle, truth, were shaped by the life his father lived, a life that demanded dignity in a world that often refused it. For decades, Gil Heron's name was barely mentioned in Celtic history. No mural on the stadium walls, no annual tributes, no chants, just silence. But silence does not erase significance. Today, Gil Heron is rightly recognised as a pioneer, a man who walked onto a Scottish football pitch carrying more than just a football shirt. He carried expectation, he carried prejudice, and he carried the future. He didn't stay long, but he stayed long enough to prove that talent has no colour, long enough to show that football could be better, long enough to open the door for those who would follow. Gil Heron did not change Celtic with trophies. He changed it with presence, and sometimes that is far more powerful. Gil Heron, Celtic's forgotten pioneer, the man who arrived too early, so others could arrive at all,